Again, very good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to discuss all about how to monitor a project in project management. We'll start this topic. How to monitor a project. Uh, these are the following things or the following points in which we have to focus how we have to monitor the project. The first is project baseline confirmation. Second is work monitoring control. Third is change in control integration. Fourth is scope verification. Fifth is schedule and control cost, performing reporting, quality control. These are the following points, how we have to monitor a project. So in depth, we will discuss here project baseline confirmation. In this context, project baseline is fixed reference for the project and it is compared with the progress of project against the original plan. This project baseline should be approved by the stakeholders before beginning the project. This approved data serve as a basis to compare, also known as baseline confirmation. Second is work monitoring and control. The work monitoring and control, in short WMC, process is to provide understanding on the current project and take the corrective measures where there is a deviation from the scope of the project. Now the third is change control integration. Change control integrations review the request within the project and implement the required changes. They are the different types of changes requests such as prevention action, corrective actions, defective repair and updates. This typically help the managers to project to have to organize control over the change in a project. Scope verifications. Define scope is the first steps of the project development and is approved by all the stockholders and then they are subjected to no change unless by the scope change process control. It is a process of evaluation whether the development of the project meet the requirement specification as per the scope in each phase of the project until the development project is completed. Next is schedule and the control cost control. The baseline of any project depend on these two factors. The plan for the project relies on the budget and resource availability and relate them to each other to develop the project consequently. Performance reporting. The performance report is based on how the company is working on its operation and whether they meet their goal or objective. This performance report can be taken routinely to make sure some of the factors to improve like progress, financial trends. It also supports the enhancement of firms in relation to historical performance. Next is quality control. Quality control is the review of the quality of the factor included in the production of the product and improve them if necessary, which differ from one company to another. Quality control has different way to perform quality control from investigations and manufacture products, benchmark and testing the manufacturing goods. Now we will look on the further topics, project monitoring techniques. What are the techniques which we use for the project monitoring? Is first is work breakdown structure, in which every work assigned in a project it will be break down into a small structures. That is a work breakdown structure which is organized a project in a hierarchical manners, then where the project is distributed into a smaller division and given a visual representation for better understanding. The best part is even the budget profile can be viewed the same way. It is a way through which the work can be arranged into a small piece. You can use into a breakdown more than just a task, but also a budget. Next is Gantt chart. It is another way to represent data, visually. However, it provide more applicant to the project head, combining the Gantt chart. Tools make the whole technique easier. You can schedule multiple projects with Gantt chart. With Gantt chart, the project head can assign tasks to an individual and allow notification to be sent to them and keep them on track. Now we will look on the third topic, PERT. It stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It is a planning tool used to evaluate the amount of time it will be take to practically coordinate delivery with the team members. With PERT, three different times can be estimated: the shortest time to finish the task, the most probable time for the task, and the longest period if things don't go as planned. The PERT help to identify the critical activity in a project and complete them as a schedule. Now the fourth is critical path method. Here critical path method requires you to record model that contain all the tasks and the activity, the time allocated to complete them, and what are the milestones for the projects. Using these informations, you can figure out what task can start at the earliest and can be completed without impacting the project overall schedule. Now the following points: how to create a project monitoring plans. These are the steps by steps. So first is figuring out the goal. Second is creating a blueprint. Third is collecting and mapping. Fourth is share it with your team members. Fifth is finish making the plan. Sixth is take the help of Gantt chart, PERT or the critical path method. Putting the seventh is putting the plan to motions, and eighth is post mortem. That is how you have to create a project monitoring plan. Then all after this you can easily do a project monitoring. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Now we will look into the topic PERT. It stands for the Program Evaluation Review Technique. It is a planning tool used to evaluate the amount of time it will take to practically coordinate delivers with the team members. With the PERT, three different times can be estimated: the shortest time to finish the task, the most probable times for a task, and the longest period of time, that is optimistic times, don't go as a plan. PERT also help to identify the critical activity in a project and complete them as a schedule. Now, the fourth technique is the critical path method. Here, we require you to create a model that contain all the tasks and the activity and the time allocated to complete them, and what are the milestones for the project. Using these informations, you can figure out what tasks can start the earliest and can be completed without impacting the overall schedule. Now, how to create a project monitoring plan? These are the steps. First is going to be figure out the goal. Sorry. Second is creating a blueprint. Third is collecting and mapping. Fourth is share it with your team members. Fifth is finish making the plan. Sixth is take the help of Gantt chart, PERT, and the critical path method. Seventh is putting the plan to motions, and eighth is project post mortem. That's all for the project monitoring plans. That's all for today's how to create a project plan. Thank you so much.